Well, hello, first and second graders. I hope you've been having fun working on the different projects that you have just finished in art. Today we are going to start a Charley Harper inspired paper collage that will have a little bit of paint in the end we will use to create snow. Our Charley Harper art project will be a winter scene in nature. We're going to use the types of cardinals that he designed, and we're going to create a fox in the style that he worked. So you can see at the bottom we will have a fox. This is the project that we are going to work on. The things that you will need for today's lesson are a scissors, a Sharpie fine point black marker, a pencil, the large sheet of dark colored paper, the brown and green sheets of smaller paper, the grays and green brown, the blacks, the yellow, the orange. We are going to work on the ground and the birch trees, and next week we'll do the fox and the cardinals. Plus, sorry, I almost forgot, some Elmer's all-purpose glue or a glue stick. I haven't this Art Bond one, but you can just use your regular glue stick would work too, like this. You could use your glue stick. So before we get started with our cutting and ripping and creating, I want to show you some more examples of other art students' artwork from this project. And we also want to talk about Charley Harper. Charley Harper was an American artist who was born in 1922. He grew up on a farm in West Virginia, and from a young age, he decided he wanted to become an artist. He fought in World War II. He came back and finished his art degree in Ohio. And after that, he spent time traveling across the country creating art with his wife, who he met at art school. He is most known for his very graphic designed paintings of nature. And as you can see, we have pictures of the different styles of birds he made, and mammals, and their habitat and environment. This is what he became known for. His art was used in posters for companies. It was created into textiles, so it would have been printed on fabrics. It was made into books and cards and all sorts of other ways that it could be reproduced. And his very simple shapes that he would make his animals into, he called it minimal realism. That's a big word. But he would simplify the shapes of animals in order to create them with really clean lines, but would obviously make them look uniquely whatever type of bird they were or animal. You can see some of the other art students who have created Charley Harper style design projects. We are going to do birch trees with cardinals on them because they contrast really nicely, those birch trees with the dark background. I think we'll put a moon in as well. And we are also going to include one of a fox in his style. Let's get started with our project. So again, here you can see kind of what ours is going to look like. This is going to take us a little while. So today we are going to work on putting our horizon line in with the ground. And we're going to work on putting in some of our trees. Now, just like the other art students, you might decide to only put 3 trees in, or maybe you'll do 4 or more, and your branches might be You might have more of them. That's up to you. That's how each one of these are going to be unique. So we'll start with our background first then. You are going to want to have in front of you your large sheet of paper. You're going to want it to be vertical. That would be you want it to stand up tall the long way. You're going to want your large white sheet of paper. You also are going to want your piece of brown and green. First thing I want you to do is you're going to take a scissors and you're going to cut across your paper. And I'm just going to kind of do it a little bit wavy. Mostly I'm just cutting across. Doesn't have to be a straight line. I am going to be putting this on the bottom of my paper to create the ground. Okay. I also, see it doesn't reach all the way across, so I'm going to also cut one of the green paper. And this one, at one end, I want you to come all the way to the point. So it doesn't have to look exactly like mine, but at one end I want you to have a point. We're going to put that end, we want that so it's going to overlap our brown. So that's our ground. We are going to take our glue stick and we are going to put glue on this and attach this. You want to just line it up with the bottom of your paper and then just press it down. We're going to do the same thing with our green, so I'm going to flip it over. You can see some of my glue was squishing out, so I just press it down a little bit more. And now I just press this second piece down. And it's overlapping. So that's going to be the ground of our picture. So we are going to use our white sheet, and I want you to start at the bottom. And what I would do is I would maybe make a mark. So I'm going to put a little mark here. That's where I will start cutting it. And I want to end up about here, okay? So this doesn't have to be perfectly straight. You're just going to hold it. And if you are still having issues with holding your scissors so it's comfortable, right, where you have your 3 fingers in the long space and your thumb in the small one, find your mom or dad and ask them to help you, okay? So you want your thumb on the top so it can pull it open like that, okay? So you're going to cut all the way to the top. So that's one tree. And we're just going to leave that there. Now this one, next one, I'm going to put a mark on my paper at the bottom. And usually, as our tree goes up, we want it to be thinner at the top than it is down at the bottom. I'm going to mark this one so it's wider. So I'm going to curve it because I'm going to cut out, I'll show you, I'm going to cut out a triangle. I'm going to cut that out. See, I'll do it right now. So I have that triangle I drew. I'm just going to go 1, 2. So that triangle fell out. I'm going to save this. I'll save this on the side because we might use that later. And now I'm going to come up with, start at the bottom of my paper. And again, you can make it wavy. But instead of going up here, I'm going to go to my spot that I marked. See, you can see the dot I put there. Now I have a tree with a branch. So I've got that one in. And again, put a little dot at the bottom. I'm going to put a little dot at the top. This one's going to be a curving thin. Now just keep going straight to my little mark there. So you can see this one is kind of curvy. And that one is going to fit in here really close. I'll put a little bit of dark space and then I'll have space and I'll do one more small one over here. And I'm going to put it wide again because I'm going to do that branch. Okay, remember how we did the triangle? I'm going to cut that triangle out first and then I'll be cutting that way. So, and if you notice, I flipped my paper around so it was easier to cut that. and save our white triangle. And I guess I will come from this end. I'm going to go where here's where my mark is. And so this one is going to fit really close to the edge. It'll overlap with my other one, so you can kind of see how that's going to go. So we want to glue these down before we do anything else. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to get my glue stick, and there we have it. So you want it to come to the top, and you're going to press it down. Got a little gap here. I am going to just take a little bit of my extra white. I'm going to glue it in so it touches the ground. Okay, so we're going to do that. I think I want this one to go this way. I'm going to flip it. Use your glue stick, or you can use your Elmer's glue. I kind of tucked underneath the ground behind it, and now I'm going to press it up. Okay, so yeah, if you use this kind of glue, you should put that on a lid or in a container like this. You can pour a bunch in there, and then you can just take your finger and dip in it and put that onto your paper. If you don't have a glue stick, you just don't want these to get too wet. So we've got 2 more trees to add. I have to flip it over, get my glue on. And press it down again. I slipped my tree slightly underneath my ground. And press it down. Again, I have a little spot here where it doesn't make it to the ground, so I'm just going to take one of those extra triangles. I put glue on the back, and I'm just going to tuck that underneath so that it comes all the way to the ground. There you have it. That's the beginning of our trees. We are going to want to take our paper now, our leftover white paper, and just cut off some pieces that we will attach to our trees, some branches. It's good, however you cut it, if one end is a little thicker than the other. And we're just going to be kind of fitting those on. I would say you want to give at least 1 branch to each tree, 1 extra one. And you'll see that they can overlap each other, and that will be fine. That'll look nice, like we're in a birch forest. So I think I'll do that one kind of like that. And I might do one just a little bit lower in case I want to put a bird on it. So you're going to take each of your branches. You want your branches to touch. Make sure that they touch the trunk, because if they don't, they'll just look like they're floating. So you put the glue on, and then just we want to quickly take some of our yellow paper. I want you to cut a square off so you can see how I did that. It doesn't have to be perfect because we are just going to be using it to make a moon. Now you could do a circle. And the way we do circles, we cut off the corners of our square, and now we have a bunch of extra corners, so we just slowly take those off like that. And just do that. You've been doing this with Mr. Warner now for a couple years. This is how he always has you work on your circles. Now, this circle is going to be our moon. So we want our moon behind our trees. Now, if you want to do a half moon, you can draw that on. You can just make one smiley face on your circle. See, it could actually be either a smiley face or it could be a frowny face, or you can think of it like a rainbow. But if you do that, then you just cut on the line, and then you will have the sliver of a moon. I think I will use my sliver of a moon, and I'm going to use my glue stick, put that on, and now we can glue on the rest of our branches. I think I want maybe one more branch here. So I'll cut that out of my, and glue that on as well. Okay, so we have the basics for our birch trees. But if you've ever seen a birch tree, it's not just solid white. As you can see in these photos, birch trees have dark gray and black lines that go across their bark. You can see that there are some have circular dark areas where branches used to be, and that's part of the pattern on their trunk. So that's what the other part of what we want to do today. I want you to take your black and your brown / gray paper, and we're going to work on putting some of those lines across our trees. So I am just ripping the paper, and this is a thick paper, so you can kind of get a light and a dark. And I'm going to rip some more. Now this is too wide for my tree, so I'm going to hold this down, and I'm just going to rip that off. And from the photos that I showed you, you can see that it doesn't have to go all the way across. So I'm just going to start ripping my brown gray paper. And frequently we'll see several areas that are darker, and then you'll see some that are lighter, and again some that are smaller. But I would say you probably want to put 2 or 3 pieces together. And I think this is fun because you're ripping all different kinds of shapes. Now you can rip really small pieces, and you can put those on the branches. You can see how it's good that it's not totally straight. We like that. Okay, so this is a good start. We are going to want to glue each one of these down. You're going to do what we've done with all the rest. Take your glue stick, put glue on it, and glue these kind of together and near each other. I'm going to move this one to the side, so we've got 2 big pieces and then 1 light. And we're just going to keep gluing this. So I'm going to, you might want to pause the video because this will be sped up, and just glue all of your gray-green pieces. Once you have all of your gray paper glued down, the last thing we're going to do today is add some dark lines as well. I want you to cut a strip from your black paper, and then you're just going to cut different pieces or different sizes of lines that we are going to overlap on some of the gray like that. Some can be thicker, some can be thinner. Some of these we will cut. So I'm going to take these, some of these, so you can see I got a couple of them, and I'm going to cut them, not in half, because we want different sizes of them. And we're going to place these over the edges and in on the different areas of your tree. Now I've got this really big piece, you can see. I'm going to cut off the corners like we do for our circles, and I'm going to make this kind of a rounded spot that I'll have on my tree like that. So you're going to cut a bunch of black strips and find spots for them on your tree trunk, and then you're going to glue them down, just like we did before. Now I'm looking at this, and you can see I'll still need to cut some more black because I won't have enough. And what I like to do is I will cut some and I will place them out and I'll glue them on, and if there are some spots where I feel like I still need some more, I'll just cut some more out. So I want you to go ahead and start gluing these on. The strips are a little bit harder to get the glue on, so your fingers might get gluey. And if they get too gluey and the paper is sticking, then you want to get a damp cloth or paper towel and use that to wipe your fingers on. So you can see here I overlapped a little bit. This black piece I did underneath the gray, and then I did this one on the other side. And if you decide you want to rip some of the black pieces, cut them off but rip different lengths, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so here you have it. We have our ground, and I have 4 birch trees. Maybe you just have 3. They go all the way to the top. I've included my moon. So this is the beginning of our Charley Harper collage. I hope that you have enjoyed this, and I look forward to next time working on cardinals and a fox, and we'll be putting some snow on. So have a great weekend, and I will see you soon.